Thank you all for taking the time to join the Fair Work Ombudsman's webinar, Employer Guide to the FWO's Tools and Resources. My name is Erica and I'll be your presenter today. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Fair Work Ombudsman acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their continuing connection to land, water, skies and communities. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping points. The Fair Work Ombudsman, who I will also refer to today as the FWO, has taken care to ensure that the information in this presentation is current at the time of delivery. However, we can't guarantee its accuracy, reliability, currency or completeness. The information is general in nature and how it applies to you will depend on your personal situation. So for more details, you can visit fairwork.gov.au or you can call us on 131394. We won't be answering questions during the webinar today. So if you need advice on a specific situation, please contact us using the details I've just shared. If you experience any technical issues, you can let us know via the chat box. We'll do our best to resolve them. If the issue persists and you can't view the live webinar, you'll be able to rewatch it when the recording is available. And we'll email you the link once it's ready, and you can also catch up on previous webinars at fairwork.gov.au/webinars, or you can check out our YouTube channel, which we'll also send you through a link to as well. Okay, so to just start with today, I'd like to quickly show you our homepage, which hopefully most of you are familiar with. At the top of the page, you'll notice two tiles. So we have report a workplace issue anonymously and a tile which links to a document that explains the differences between the Fair Work Ombudsman and the Fair Work Commission. And we'll take a closer look at this one shortly. Scrolling further down, you'll notice our inquiry topics, starting with the two most popular, which is pay and wages, and then also leave. From there, the topics follow the employment life cycle, including starting employment, employment conditions, workplace problems, and ending employment. Each heading contains separate categories for easy navigation, and further down the page, you'll find our subscription centre here, and then also our social media tiles. So our comms team do a great job of turning what could be dry content into something engaging and easy for you to share. And then we also have down here our newsroom and some of the quick links to information pages and additional resources. So return to the top of the page here, because I want to show you our automatic translation tool here, which is powered by Microsoft Translator. And this works across most of our pages. So you'll see here that there's a link of multiple languages, and you can simply select a language and the page will display translated information in that language. So for example, if I choose traditional Chinese, the content will appear in that language right here on the page. So this is a great resource for businesses with employees who speak English as a second language, or for anyone who prefers information really in another language. You can see here that there is videos embedded as well, which will also have the translated subtitles there. You can also contact the FWO on 131450, which is our translating and interpreting service, and ask for the Fair Work Ombudsman so you can speak with an interpreter in your chosen language. You can also access our main menu at the top left of the screen here by clicking on this icon, and from here you can navigate to various topics as displayed on the screen. Today I want to show you how to find the Fair Work information statements. So these are important documents that businesses must provide to employees, and you can find these under employment conditions and information statements. So there are three statements. There's the Fair Work information statement, which must be given to all new employees when they start. And then we have the casual employment information statement, which must be provided to casual employees when they start and at set times during their employment. And lastly, the fixed term contract information statement to be provided to employees on a fixed term contract. So when you click on the link, you can download the latest version here. So I'll quickly show you the Fair Work information statement. Please be advised that this is the December 2025 version, so it may not be the latest when you watch this video. It provides employees with essential details about pay and workplace entitlements, whether they're full-time, part-time or casual. It also has here the National Employment Standards and also has useful links throughout the document as well. So if you need to provide this to your employees, you could print this off, making sure it's the latest version, or you could provide them access to the link as well. Now on our homepage, I mentioned I want to take a further look at this tile here, the difference between the Fair Work Ombudsman and the Fair Work Commission, and the guide here. So we often find that people confuse these two agencies. So this guide is really helpful. It explains that we are independent and separate government organisations, each with different roles. So you see there's information about the Fair Work Ombudsman and the Fair Work Commission and a breakdown of specific topics showing which agency handles each one. So we'll scroll down to the right to disconnect, which is just here. So this is a good one because it shows we both have a role to play, but we provide a different role. So just for a quick update, if you're not aware, the right to disconnect is legislation that gives employees a right to refuse to monitor, read or respond to work-related contact outside of their working hours. And here's how the responsibilities are split. So the Fair Work Ombudsman provides advice and information. We've got information like helpful videos available on our website, whereas the Fair Work Commission handles applications from employees or employers to resolve disputes about the right to disconnect. So this is an excellent resource if you're unsure where to go or who to contact for specific workplace issues. So back on our homepage, which you can navigate to by clicking our logo at the top left-hand side of our website here. So we often get asked how people can stay up to date with changes to workplace laws, and that's why I do want to show you our subscription centre, which you can access from the mail icon here on the homepage. So if you scroll down, you can sign up for email updates here. The form will ask for your details and it will ask what topics you're interested in receiving updates about. So, for example, if you want information relevant to the building and construction industry, you can select updates in my industry. You can select your customer type. So we'll go employer here and your location. So I'll choose Tassie where I'm located. And then you can select your industry. So we'll go building, construction and on-site trades. You can then select the relevant selection from here, or you can select the award that might apply as well. And there could be multiple awards that you select. So for example, you may have the Building and Construction Award, but if you have clerical staff, you could also select, say, the Clerk's Private Sector Award. So then down here, we can then hit subscribe, and that'll give you tailored email updates based on the selection you've chosen. So back on the home page, I do want to show you here some of the quick links that we have available. The first link I want to show you here is our Workplace Relations Professionals page. So this is especially useful for those of you who work in an advisory role. It's also a great page to remember because most of the resources I'll show you today are linked here. So on this page, you'll find information on workplace laws. There's key tools and resources like our library, calculators and templates, and we'll explore these in more detail later. And there's also details down here on how to contact us. There's information on our employer advisory service, which we'll also take a closer look at in this webinar. And we've got our payroll remediation program guide, which helps employers identify, correct and prevent payroll errors. And then we have down here some guidance on legal help and keeping up to date again. So this page brings together many of the essential resources from today's webinar in one place. So if you take away just one thing from today, make it this page because it's a great starting point for workplace relations professionals. So I'll go back here. And in the quick link section here, you'll also find industry specific information for sectors such as building and construction. We've got contract cleaning, disability support and aged care services, fast food restaurants and cafes, higher education and horticulture. So let's take a quick look at the horticulture page as an example. So this page acts as a virtual hub for workplace information tailored for growers and workers, obviously in the horticulture industry. It includes guidance on piece rates, which is a specific payment method that's used in this industry. You'll also be able to find tools and resources for things like sourcing labour in this industry and information on record keeping, as well as self-audit checklists as well. And just lots of information tailored to help interpret and apply workplace laws for this sector. So different industries often have unique award and requirements, which is why these pages are so valuable to come to. And I'm not going to go into detail, a detailed demonstration today on all of these, since this webinar is designed to be broadly applicable, but I do encourage you to explore these industry pages if you work in or support a specific sector. So now let's move on to a detailed demonstration of our pay and conditions tool, which we also call PACT for short. You can access this from multiple places on the website, but it is the first link here on our homepage under the pay and wages tile. The PACT tool has 4 calculators. It has a pay calculator, which I'll demonstrate. It has a shift calculator, a leave calculator, and also a notice and redundancy calculator. You can also see that there's an option to save your sessions, which I'll show you how to do later. And there's also a help section here. So the help section explains who can use the tool. It's designed for employees covered under an award, not for those who are under an enterprise agreement. And it's also got some troubleshooting tips and links to additional resources, including some videos down the bottom here that you can look at in addition to the webinar demonstration I'm showing you today. But let's start the pay calculator demonstration. So picture this, you're about to open your dream Italian restaurant. The pasta is perfect. The tiramisu is legendary. It's got an elite wine menu, but first you need to know how much to pay your wait staff. So for this example, I'm going to look at the pay rates from the perspective of an employer. It's going to show you the same information. It'll just tailor the language appropriately. There's also a disclaimer here, which I'll leave because you can read that in your own time. So you can choose a date. So you can backdate pay rates. For example, you could check rates from 12 months ago. The rates shown are current as of December 2025 that we look at today. If you're watching this at a later date, please be aware that these rates might have changed. This is a good point to probably flag that each year the Fair Work Commission conducts an annual wage review, with pay rates usually changing from the 1st of July each year. So I'm going to leave it as the 9th of December 2025 and click next. And so next you can choose the award selection. So you can either confirm that you know the award, or you can use the tool and say no, and it will help you find the correct award. So if you're unsure, small business employers can contact our employer advisory service for advice, and I'll show you how to look at this later, or you can contact us for guidance. But in some cases, you may need to seek legal advice. But let's look at, yes, I know the award that applies, which is going to be the Restaurant Industry Award, which I can type in the top here. If I click the down arrow, it'll show me some details about the award, who it covers and who it doesn't cover. So if we have a look who it doesn't cover hotels, motels, retail shops, school canteens and registered clubs are excluded. So they might fall under one of these awards down here. So for example, registered clubs, sounds like the registered club award would be a good fit. But we'll go tick this one as the correct award and go next. So next in the calculator, it's going to ask you for some more details about the employee. Is the employee a trainee? Are they eligible for a supported wage? Or is the employee an apprentice? Now, if you're not sure about these things, you can click this question mark here and it will give you some more details. So for supported wage, it says the supported wage system is an assessed wage system for employees with a disability based on productivity. And it will link you to a page with more information on that if you're not sure. But for today, we're going to click no and go next. Next, for the restaurant award, it's going to ask which stream your employee is in. If you weren't sure on this, the best place to check is the award. It has all of this information in it, but waiters and waitresses fall under the food and beverage stream. But you could say have a stream for cooks, which would be their kitchen stream. Next, it will look at the classification level. So we've got introductory here, which is for an employee who enters the restaurant industry and does not demonstrate the competency requirements of a level 1. It's got more information there. So level 1, we can see has some duties like picking up glasses. Here it'll give us a prompt that employees selling or serving alcohol may be classified as a level 2 or higher. So you can't have them on level 1 if they're doing that. And then it'll show us some of the key differences. So for a level 2, they're serving, they're performing waiting duties and serving potentially alcohol. And then for the level 3, they are supervising or training food and beverage attendants of a lower grade. So for this one, if we've got wine in our restaurant, I mentioned the great wine list earlier, we'll put proper level 2 and they're serving food, but we're not looking at a supervisory role. Next, it'll ask whether it's going to be full-time, part-time or casual. So we won't go into the differences on this today. If you're not sure, you can click on the question mark and it will link you to the page here. So for this one, I'm going to choose part-time. Want to look at the staff members going to work Wednesday to Friday, 6 hours per shift. Then you can select the age of the employee, so go 20 years of age or over. And here the calculator displays the base pay rate, which is $25.85 per hour. You can click this arrow here and it will show you also the full-time, which is the same, and the casual rate, which is higher, because it includes the casual loading. But we'll keep it on the part-time here. And you can then scroll down and it will show you the common penalty rates for the award. So for that level and that staff member. So it's Saturday penalty rate, Sunday and public holidays. Bearing in mind, if you're watching this, these are as of December 2025, so they may have changed if you watch the recording. You can also go in here and select allowances to include as well, if any of these are applied to the employee. So we'll leave those unticked for now. So back here, you can save the session, you can email this page, but you can also print it as well. So I did mention that I would show you how you could save it. So to save the session, you go here. And it will actually give you a reference number which you can save, and you can access that calculation using the reference number later from the packed page. But I'm going to select my account for this one. So my account is an online portal that you can use to lodge inquiries with us, but also bookmark and save your pay calculator results. So you can see I've got a few that I've done here, and this is today's calculation that I've done. So if I click back there, it'll take me back to that calculation. So this could be useful if you want to save pay calculations for multiple employees, or where you want to check even different award pay rates, if you've got multiple awards applying, or if you were checking that you'd paid someone correctly, you might want to save pay rates from 12 months apart. So you can return to these bookmarks at any time. You can also delete them as well if you no longer need them. And so while we're here, I'll just show you how you can submit an inquiry to us as well through our My Account. So it'll tell you what information you need, and to register for My Account, you just need an email and a mobile number. And then you can hit on Submit New Inquiry there. It will take you to some input fields, just contact details, business details, and then you can save and submit, and an advisor will get in contact with you usually within 10 days, 10 business days, in response to an inquiry that you've submitted through there. Now, if you're not registered for My Account, I do want to show you where you can register, because this is already logged into my account because I was already logged in on the computer. So it's pretty handy. It saves it there and remembers me when I log back in. I will quickly show you, before I do that, the resources tab here. So we've got some great online resources. This will take you to our online learning centre, which has courses for employees and also employers as well, and some templates as well, and some tips on resolving common issues. So there's more in the resources tab there, but to register for My Account, on the home page, there'll be a link here that says register. Mine doesn't say that because I'm already registered, but for you it'll say register, and you can go through and create a My Account there. So I would encourage you to do that if you don't already have one. But while we've been on the topic of awards, so we did just touch on the Restaurant Industry Award for our pasta restaurant. I do want to also show you the award summary tool, which you'll find on various pages across the website. So from the search bar here, let's say I want to find out what breaks might apply to an employee. I can go to our breaks page, which has information on rest breaks and meal breaks, crib breaks, breaks between shifts, but you'll see here that I can actually select the industry. So now not all industries are going to be listed here. The award itself is always the best source for detailed information, but this tool is handy if you do want a quick overview while you're browsing the website. So for today's example, I'm going to select hospitality, and I'm going to change the industry. So rather than restaurant, let's have a look at the fast food or takeaway industry and show information tailored. So you'll see it says, based on what you've told us, it looks like you're covered by the Fast Food Industry Award. And it will tell you what a rest break is, a meal break, and then it will give you a great little summary here of what rest break or meal breaks apply, depending on how long the employee has worked. Then it also has some additional information about breaks here as well. Along with this, I do want to show you our knowledge library as well, which is another great resource to find articles on specific topics. So you can find this under the menu, tools and resources, and library here. So when you open the library, you'll see that there's a search bar for you to look up topics. There's also latest articles here, which will show you that the latest articles our knowledge team here at the FWO have developed and put up for you. And then it will have some of the most popular searched articles as well. So I just want to stop here for a minute and give you an important note. So the website is always the most up-to-date source of information to check first. The Knowledge Library is an additional resource that you can use to look for an answer to a detailed question that you can't find on our website. And sometimes our info line advisors might use this tool when they're assisting callers as well. So let's say you've restaurant isn't your dream, the pasta restaurant, you're wanting to now look at running a food truck selling the best kebabs in town. So you decide to have a look if there's any information on food trucks in our library. So So you'll come across here a library article with examples to help businesses understand the correct award coverage for the food truck based on the employer's industry and the employee's duties. So what I find particularly useful is that it covers off here examples of where a food truck business could fall under different awards. So an example of how it would operate, say, potentially under the Travelling Shows Award, the Fast Food Award, the Retail Award, Amusement Award, and the Hospitality Award. So the great thing is that these examples make it quite clear and hopefully easy to understand which award would apply to the food truck business. However, again, if you still have questions, this is a great example of where you could contact us so we can provide you with some guidance. So back at the library, I just want to show you another search, which would be, let's say we wanted some more information on overtime. And let's say we're wanting to look under a particular industry or the award that applies to that industry. So we'll go with the Security Services Industry Award here. And here it'll bring up 3 articles on that. So articles are additional resource, as I mentioned. So what you might find in some of these, for example, is say an example of a calculation. So awards won't have an example of a calculation. So this is where the library is quite handy, because if you want to see how award information might look in a practical sense, this could be a supportive resource for you. So it doesn't have everything, but it's definitely worth exploring when you're looking for information. Now, the next page I want to show you today is our small business showcase, and you can access this under the menu, find help for, and then small business here. So this page is designed as a one-stop shop for small businesses, but I do want to note that many resources that you can find here would benefit a business of any size. So I did mention our employer advisory service. And this service gives small business employers with fewer than 15 employees free tailored written advice about paying conditions to help ensure compliance with the Fair Work Act. And after submitting an inquiry, you'll hear from an advisor within 1 to 2 business days. So how to access the EAS, you can complete the online form, you can fill in and email us the Employer Advisory Service inquiry form, or you can call us on 131394 and you can ask the advisor who answers to refer you to the Employer Advisory Service. So I'll show you what this form looks like. Yeah, so again, it's just going to ask for pretty basic information like your name and contact details, some information about your business, and just some information about your inquiry. And the benefit of this is that complex inquiries, you can discuss them at a time that suits you. The advice is provided in writing for your records. So if you're a small business and haven't used this service, I strongly encourage you to take advantage of this one. But back on our small business showcase homepage, you can see there's a lot of information, like information on managing employee performance. So this page will have best practice guides for you. It will have, which we'll look at again later, it'll have templates like warning letters, which I'll also show you later. It'll have links to our training centre, including our online course on difficult conversations. And it will also link you to the Small Business Fair Dismissal Code. So there's a lot of information on here, as you can see, and each tile will have this from this page. So I'm not going to show you all of them today. There's that library that we've had a look at already too, but I will show you the Voluntary Small Business Wage Compliance Code. This one just links here to our webpage with the same information. And it has a link to our Voluntary Small Business Wage Compliance Code. So if a small business complies with this code, they cannot be referred for criminal prosecution by us, provided we're satisfied that they've met the requirements. So this has examples throughout it, and also a checklist, which I'll go down to here, to help ensure employees are paid correctly. So if you're interested in this, you can come back to it in your own time. Today's web demonstration is really just showing you how things look. But hopefully most of these are fairly self-explanatory in how you would use them. So as you can see, the small business showcase really is a wealth of knowledge, and it's a great starting point if you're running a small business. But I also show you how you can access some of the information through the web page. So let's have a look at templates, fact sheets, and best practice guides next. Now, you'll find these linked throughout our website, but I want to show you how to access a full list from our homepage as well. So there's tools and resources. You've got templates, fact sheets, and best practice guides. So we'll start with templates. So under this section, you'll see that there's quite a few down here. There's templates for employing staff. You've got templates on payslip and record keeping, on hours of work and annual leave, on the employee choice pathway. There's templates for parental leave, for flexible working ranges, so letter for employees to request and also for employees to respond. There's managing performance, which we touched on in the small business showcase, and I'll show you an interactive template shortly. But let's have a look at the employee choice pathway. So let's say you've received and employees perhaps used this written request to change from a casual employee to a permanent employee. So this is where our responding to an employee's notice to change to permanent employment checklist could come in handy for you. So you see here it has information about responding to the employee's notice and who can use the response template. It has a checklist to confirm what steps you need to take when responding. It'll also encourage you to contact us if you're unsure of any of the information in the checklist. And then if you scroll further down, it'll take you through what you need to do next, whether you're accepting or not accepting the change. And then it has the response template, so whether you're accepting or not accepting. So you can fill this in with your own information. So all the information in red you can replace with your own details. We also have interactive templates as well. So under managing performance, we have an interactive template letter for a warning letter template. What that does is rather than removing the information in red like I showed you on the previous one, you can basically come in here and pop in all the information that's relevant, and then go next and download a completed copy of a warning letter in this instance. So hopefully that might be new to some of you who are watching today. I know some people aren't aware of just how many templates we have available, but next I'm going to show you how to have a look at our fact sheets. So we have a wealth of fact sheets divided into topics. So we've got minimum workplace entitlements, rights and obligations, unpaid work, and then about us at the FWO. So let's have a look at minimum workplace entitlements. You can see there's multiple fact sheets here. But to show you what one looks like, let's look at the family and domestic violence leave fact sheet, which will take you to the web page first, and then the fact sheet is here. So you can download and print the PDF, or you can use the link, and these are great for sharing and having everything referenced in one place. So as a reminder, all employees, full-time, part-time and casual, are entitled to 10 days of paid family and domestic violence leave each year. You can see the fact sheet covers things like what the privacy requirements are. It has how the leave is paid and what pay slips should have or not mention in this instance. And then down on the fact sheets, you'll find some great case studies that our team here at the FWO have put together as well. So these can really help in developing your understanding of how different entitlements might work. And you'll find these on most of our fact sheets as well. But last but not least, from our website, let me show you our best practice guides. So they are under tools and resources and best practice guides. So let's say you've got an employee who wants to change their working hours to accommodate picking up their kids from school. This is where the flexible working arrangement best practice guide might help you. So if you have a look here, it'll have in the guide, it'll have why best practice matters. It'll have information here on legal requirements. It'll have practical tips on how to make it work in your workplace, rules for responding to requests. It'll have examples of reasonable business grounds for refusal, because sometimes you can't say yes, and that's okay if you follow the rules. And it will have case studies and a best practice checklist as well down the bottom. So again, I won't spend too long on this because you can come back to that in your own time. So we have covered a lot in this session across a range of resources, but there may be specific questions that you would like to raise that are individual to your work situation. So you can contact us on 131394 or through the My Account that I've demonstrated. You can also contact our translating interpreting service on 131450. For those who've joined us live today, you'll see a pop-up survey after today's session, and we would really appreciate it if you could please fill this in or leave your comments and feedback, and it's all really helpful in shaping our future webinar content, especially as we develop more webinars into 2026. I do hope you have found this webinar informative though, and thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.